I told you it was going to be very quick tonight. It certainly has been. Let's get right now to Lenny McAllister, of course. He hosts Night Talk Get to the Point on Friday. I'm sure I have a lot to say about our next topic. We have a window available for him right now. Lenny, appreciate very much you taking the time. You're busy behind the scenes as well, but I know that this issue out of South Carolina, which originally started with a charge of homicide, today turned into the firing of a city patrolman who's involved in this matter, Michael Thomas Slager. The mayor of North Charleston made it pretty clear that this is just wrong. It's absolutely wrong. The video is something that I cringe to look at, although we'll run it momentarily. Is this a law enforcement issue, or is it because of the other issues we've seen in America, the list getting too long, and the fact that this is a white officer and a black victim? Is it a racial issue?
Yeah, it's a racial issue. You're seeing this way too often throughout America. And we can sit there and say that this is an issue of training with police officers. You can say this is an isolated incident. But when you see the statistics that over the last several years, you have basically one African American that is being shot and killed roughly once a day throughout the United States of America. When you understand that grand juries, by and large, even when you have all the facts that don't seem to add up, these officers still find a way to get off. This officer won't because of video. If there was no video, we would end up having an assailant, a tussle over a taser, and we would have had the taser at the feet of the dead victim, just like we have in any other instance. The only difference is we now have a video of the officer walking that taser, apparently, over to the victim from where he shot to where the victim finally lay dead. These type of situations underscore that when people protest and say Black Lives Matter, when they sit there and say that this is a system of corruption and that we have to have systematic changes in our society, these are the type of issues that they point to, and they have an extremely valid point.
One of the things that jumped out at me, and it says just as a lawyer, is when his attorney, the attorney for the police officer is quit. You know, there's something that jumps out at that. That's not certainly the first reaction that you would have based on the video. Why don't we look at the video? I don't even like to look at it, frankly.
But we have to. We have to.
I know. Let's take a look at it.
I have 2 stepchildren and 1 on the way.
Defend yourself.
Lenny, traffic stop, faulty brake light, unarmed.
And the first thing he said, Ellis,
use of force at that level is extremely well defined in the United States law.
However, the first thing he said was that he feared for his life. It is the same narrative that you continuously hear anytime there's an unarmed black man. When you have a black motorist that is knocking on a door asking for help in Charlotte, North Carolina, a former college football player asking for help, a police officer shoots him dead, and he's facing manslaughter charges right now as well. Listen, I was fearing for my life. It is almost as if they can pull that out of their wallet and lay it down on the table and hope for the best. And I think that when you look at situations like this, the truth of the matter is we saw a blueprint in Indiana and in Arkansas in regards to how to change laws. The gay agenda, the gay activists that looked at the laws in Indiana and Arkansas within 72 hours put corporate pressure into place to make sure that something happened systematically and tangibly, and African Americans are going to have to do the same thing. They may be afraid to anger some of their corporate partners, but the truth of the matter is gay Americans shop at Walmart too. Gay Americans watch college basketball too. So they made sure that they put pressure on the NCAA and on Walmart to make sure that the laws changed in Indiana and Arkansas. And African Americans cannot be afraid to use their spending power to make the systematic changes necessary to keep more African Americans, particularly African American men, safe from these type of incidences that we're continuously seeing far too often.
Let me throw something at you as a curveball, Lenny. I don't know the stats when it comes to shooting
once a day,
white
roughly.
Americans in these circumstances. What difference would it have made to you if, in fact, it was that setting where you had a white officer and you had a white victim?
It would make a difference. However, the truth of the matter is if you look at the statistics, you end up finding that when it's a white officer against a black victim, they're going to get off at an exponential rate versus if it's white on white or black on white. And these are just the statistics that we're seeing time and time and time again. If it were even across the board, when you start looking at similar facts, it's one thing. But the truth of the matter is it is not. You couple that with the fact that you have policies here in Pittsburgh, New York City, Chicago, other cities when it comes to warrantless searches, when it comes to stop and frisk, and then you see these type of incidences playing out roughly once a day throughout the United States. It's time for African Americans to use their spending power the same exact way that gay Americans use their spending power in Indiana and Arkansas and push for tangible, substantive change immediately.
Let me throw this at you, Lenny. North Charleston is South Carolina's third largest city. It has a population of about 100,000 people. 37% are white. African Americans make up 47%. Police department is about 80% white. Now,
welcome to Ferguson, South Carolina.
Well, I mean, that's certainly one way to look at it. I mean, it also reflects a lack of disconnect between, or a disconnect, arguably, between those in the law enforcement community and those that they represent. You know, I'm not going to sit here and paint every one of those 80% as bad cops. I'm not going to do that.
No, and they're not, but here's the truth of the matter is this. If you can devalue a certain segment of your population, if you understand that you can err on the side of caution to keep yourself safe and not protect the rights of other Americans, when you have that firearm at your side, when you know that the grand juries will lean your way, when you know that you can shift evidence your way, and you know on top of that, that when you throw this out into the court of public opinion, people are going to, generally speaking, split into two camps. They're either going to side for the police officer regardless, or they're going to side for the victim regardless. That's when facts get lost. And if you're not willing to change how people are trained, and you're not willing to change how we deal with this and put real pressure on the system, not march, not complain, not go into restaurants and say Black Lives Matter. Put real pressure into play so that we don't have this anymore, so that the training is put into place immedely to make sure that these things transpire immediately. If you don't do this, we're going to be talking about this in another month.
All right, well, you know, the stats certainly recently, the incidents are coming at a pace where we are talking about once a month. Longer term, I appreciate your financial concern or pressure. Longer term, grand juries putting a light on these departments, I think, go a long way as well. Lenny, I'm up against it. We're going to come back and tell you what's on at 11. We come back right here at PCNC.